So hi, welcome to the Noise Podcast. We're here with Ryland from Origami Angel. We're gonna ask him some questions. I'm gonna start. What inspired you guys to start the band?
So yeah, it's kind of a weird story. Me and Pat were in another band before, and Pat's the drummer, the only other member of Origami Angel. We were in a band with a couple friends from high school, and it was like I played lead guitar, and he played he played drums in the band, and the the lead man of that band, the front man, and the bassist, they both like kind of left. Like the bassist moved to California one summer, and then our front man he went over and like spent the entire summer and then part of the fall in Germany or something like that. And he was like, I'm not gonna be back. We had like tours booked and stuff, I think, and then like it kind of just collapsed, and we were like, well, that sucks. So me and Pat were kind of just left like, we should probably start another band or something, or do something, because we were just kind of bored ass kids. And then he was like, let's start a two-piece band. I was like, yeah, I've always wanted to start a two-piece. I was like, we could sound like giraffes, because we were both really into that band. They're like this technical math rock effects heavy like shit. And we tried that, and it didn't work. Like we sucked.
Oh.
And then and then we were like, fuck that. We're gonna try to sound like Mobo.
Okay.
And that didn't work either. So then we kind of just were like, we'll just feel it out. And then we like took some songs that I had written from like before that I really didn't know what I was gonna do with, and that kind of became our first EP. But it was sort of just like, out of two people wanted to continue playing music together, because from the minute that me and Pat started playing together in that band, like I was really just, I fell in love with the way that he played drums, and like I've always felt this sort of natural like connection to him. It's just like doesn't really feel like you're having to try to play music. It just kind of feels like, I don't know, it's cliche, but like it feels very natural. Feels like having a conversation with him. And I felt like if we're doing that and it's just us in the band, like it'll be smooth sailing,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Awesome, dude. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, oh my god. Okay, sorry. I messed up and my mind just kind of stopped for a second. Okay, so what is your writing process like, and how do you think it's changed since your first EP?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I feel like our first EP was kind of just some shit that I like had written on acoustic guitar before we really took them to the full band nature, and I didn't really have them planned to go that way. They were just kind of songs that we tried to get to translate that way. But with like everything past our first EP, Quiet Hours, so like starting on Doing the Most, I was kind of writing like my parts a little more intentionally to be like for a full band thing, and Pat was like I kind of realized this dude is like incredibly good at drums, and I feel like those songs that I was writing like kind of sold us short from like showcasing what he can do as a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of just became like more of a conscious effort between both of us to be like, okay, let's write these things that like go hard as hell. We can just like, I think another thing too is like we wanted to write shit that we were gonna have a lot of fun playing together. Like just stuff that we like could gravitate towards naturally if we weren't even thinking about like writing songs. So it's kind of weird because we kind of took a step back after that first EP together, both kind of like thought of how we wanted the band to go forward like sonically, and we wanted to go for something more natural, like that, just the way that we would play the songs if we weren't even thinking about them. So that when we started kind of writing like that, once we sort of got a feel for that, it was kind of like I felt comfortable to sort of like write a lot more on my own and like demo some ideas out and send them to him, and then we just kind of and that's kind of where it is right now. Like we kind of connect like digitally first. Like I'll demo some shit out and send it to him. He'll be like, this is sick, I already got ideas for this. Sometimes I'll put like fake drums on it, and he'll just like be like, these fake drums are aight, but I can do it so much better. And then like he'll come with like some like big brain ideas, and then we'll put it together, and it's like we're already kind of flowing before we even like meet up to practice, which is pretty sick, because Pat's been away. Like he goes to college a couple hours away from me right now, so that's been really helpful for like the last couple years. Like just being able to maintain that sort of productivity.
That's a really cool way that you guys go about it.
Thanks.
So how do you feel about the rate that you've grown since that first EP?
It's crazy, like, because I feel like I've like just like with what I've been doing in my life like since then, there's been so many like rapid changes in my own life that I haven't really had a minute until like after our last record came out to sort of like realize what was happening. Like it kind of always felt like, you know, we're doing stuff and that's how it should be. Like we do more stuff, we get better at doing stuff, like more people will care. But I didn't really, it didn't like hit me like, oh, this is actually like an increasing thing till like we dropped our debut LP, Somewhere City. It kind of like everything that's happened after that, like the tour that we did after that with this band called Short Fictions and this other band called Cheem, just like all those shows were like insane, and there are just people still like people hitting us up about it and being like, yo, this record means so much to me, like really, you know, like from different corners of like just like everywhere. Like I never really expected to have people in Phoenix, Arizona, and what's that other place? You know, just crazy places in the middle of the Southwest, you know, just like that I'd never been to in my life. You know, I never really expected people to have their own stories of how they connected to our stuff. So I feel like I'm incredibly grateful for like how much has happened. And I'm even like more grateful in a way that I'm kind of just now getting to like feel like what that reach has like, or what our reach has grown to in that time. Just because like I feel like we've definitely been like very lucky in having a base of people that support us in a very passionate way, and I'm very grateful for that, and I feel great about it. To answer it shortly.
Good. Yeah.
You guys are killing it right now, so congrats to that.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. So what does your band name mean? Or
you know, it's funny because we were gonna, so like when we were writing the first EP, Quiet Hours, like when we were like getting ready to release it, we actually had all the music recorded without a name for the band. Like we had a name, and then we were like, yo, there's another band with that same name except for like one little difference, and they were very notable, like and I was kind of like, damn, I didn't even realize that. I guess we don't have a name. And then I was hanging out with my best friend Jacob, who there's actually a song about him on that record, or he's name dropped. But we were hanging out and we were just catching up. It was after my first semester at school, but I only did 2. But the first one, we were chilling out and we were sitting on these songs, and I was just talking to him. I was like, you know, I just been, aside from this music shit, I just been like chilling out, you know, trying to reconnect with some like shit from my past, because I felt like really weird about, you know, being at school, being out of high school and just being a whatever people call an adult. Like I was just trying to, you know, revisit some other parts of like my past that I was really involved in. So in elementary school, I was super big into origami. And I started doing a lot more of that shit with my little brother when I was back. And so he was like, well, what's your favorite thing to make? I was like, well, I think it's sick to make an Origami Angel, you know? And he was like, yo, you should name your band that because it sounds like what a shitty 7th grade punk band would be called. And I was like, damn, dude, like, what the fuck does that mean? Like,
is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
But then he was like, no, trust me, it's good, because then people will hear you and be like, oh, they don't sound like a shitty 7th grade punk band. And I was like, so I was like, that's actually some great advice. And I really like the way that the name sounds, you know? I like the way that it looks. And I feel like for me, like, as soon as I started like thinking about it more, I was like, yo, Origami Angel, that's the name of this band. And I was like, yo, Pat, we should name this shit Origami Angel, huh? And he was like, fuck no, that sucks. like, and then like a couple months later, he was like, I actually think it's pretty cool. And then like a couple, like about 6 months ago, we were talking, he's like, yo, I'm so sorry that I said we shouldn't do that, because like now I fucking love the name. And I'm like, that's what I'm saying, dog.
That's what I'm saying.
But I understand, because like he was pretty attached to the name we had before. But it's cool. Like I'm glad that everybody feels cool with the name, and I don't know. Ever since then, it was kind of just like never really questioned it again. Like we're Origami Angel, you know?
Yeah.
Can you drop the old name? Can you tell us what that was?
What was it?
Can you tell us what the old name was?
Yeah.
I don't want to. It's corny.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So what artists are your biggest inspirations when you're writing music?
You know, it's weird because I feel like there's a ton of inspiration that would be like expected from like a DIY emo typey sounding band. But then there's a lot of other ones that also I feel like don't necessarily, you wouldn't expect. But so like as far as like aesthetically, like what we were trying to do originally, like we really love this band, the Obsessives. They're from DC also. They're great. They used to be a two-piece. They play with like 4 or 5 people now, but they're amazing, and they're a great band. They've been very formidable to me as a musician, as a person. Just being able to see them come up was tremendous. Prince Daddy and a Hyena, similar way. Although they're not from DC, so we weren't like seeing them like that. But they like, I just remember the first time I heard their EP Adult Summers and just being captivated and being like, this energy, like that was part of like what like we wanted to do going forward after our first EP, was just like that like aggressiveness, that sort of energy that they just had bottled up, and like that was very inspirational. And countless other like emo DIY bands that we know and are friends with, just like there's more than like I could even try to name, just but the scene as a whole has been incredibly inspirational and motivational to me, but also just like it was weird because I feel like I never really had like a pop punk phase at all. I think I kind of jumped straight into emo from a pretty early age. Just because of some influences. Like my cousin was super involved in like the early Philly emo scene and shit. But so I like dove back into like some easycore that I missed like way after I should have,
Yeah.
But then I was like peeping bands like, Can't Bear This Party, Abandoned by Bears, 4 Years Strong, and like Chunk No Captain Chunk. And then the way it's like, it's weird because I feel like when I try to explain that to people, they're like, nah, dude, like that shit's whack. But to me, it's like, I feel like once you can get past the difference in texture of like what we're trying to do and what they're trying to do, it's like they have this way of having these aggressive, just, ridiculous breakdowns and instrumental parts that I love. It's something that I love about that dynamic of music. But then they're also making it sound happy as hell too, or they're making it sound like very sonically diverse from like what that sort of range would be used for most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So like getting into that stuff, I was like, that's really interesting. It was never like we're gonna be like Abandoned by Bears, but it was more like, what can we, what part of that message can we sort of adopt and like try to, bring that energy into what we're doing. And same thing for like, certain just like alt rock bands, like the Bare Naked Ladies have always been like a huge band for me. Like they're my mom's favorite band. They're the first concert I ever went to, second concert I ever went to, third concert I ever went to. Like they're ridiculous. But I feel like, that's another band where I feel people sort of know like the meme-age of it. But there's a level of like songwriting there, I feel like that's hidden like to the public eye, just because like I feel like there's not a lot of reason for most people to go past "it's been 1 week since you looked at me" type shit. But for me, like I'd always known that discography, so I hold that like very, very deeply, because I feel like that band has managed to sort of balance in their discography like goofiness and also being very serious at times, and using a whole range of musical tones, lyrical tones, and strategies like that. So just like I feel like that is one that I've taken a lot of inspiration without even realizing at first, you know what I'm saying? And then like coming back, I was sort of like peeping some of their early stuff and just like some like B-sides that they have, or not B-sides, but like deep cuts, and I'm just like, I didn't realize how much I was taking from this like in there, but like how much inspiration that gave me as a musician, and just sort of like the courage that it gave me to sort of embrace like myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like my voice. So I think, it's weird. I feel like everyone's got that, like just like an outlier band that sort of made them do this shit in a different way than they might have if they didn't have that band. And that's definitely one of those bands for me.
Okay. I respect that.
Awesome. Dude,
Thank you.
That was a great answer.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was really good. Like
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Wow. All right. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have 3 EPs that are named after or have the same theme as 3 games. You have Mortal Kombat, Pokemon, and Minecraft. Are you planning on continuing that theme for like any upcoming EPs, if you're planning on releasing any new ones?
There's no plan to right now because there's no EP plans, but like I won't say no to like maybe doing that in the future, but at the same time it's like no promises, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no real plan to do anything like that. But so we got like the Holy Split thing, the thing with Commander Salamander that like is styled Mortal Kombat, and obviously there's the Pokemon one and the Minecraft one that just happened too. So I think that there's no way that we we'll go forward without at least embracing some of those same energies, like in our aesthetic and in the music itself. Like that's definitely gonna continue to play a part in this band, you know.
Awesome. Cool. Okay.
So can you just tell me about the Minecraft EP, because I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so there was this. First of all, backtrack before any lockdowns, any sort of shit. There's this place called the Summit Shack in Bowling Green, Ohio, and they put on amazing shows all the time. They put on these amazing fests, and they have this one called Fochella. We played Fochella 3 in fall 2019. No, sorry. Spring 2019. Okay. And then we played DIY Prom fall 2019, and Connor, who runs the Summit Shack, is the ultimate homie. He's great. He's so good at just making shit happen, making these big fests happen. So there was supposed to be a fest called Fochella or Fochella 4 that was going to be happening this past April. Obviously, a lot of shutdowns, a lot of that shit became illegal. So even if like they try to do it like under the table, not going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Connor put together this thing to the whole entire fest lineup to try to digitally move it over to Twitch and Minecraft. And he did an insane job putting that all together. And I'll be so honest, I slacked so hard. Like he had been hitting me up like, yo, can I get this set for this? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to record the acoustic stuff. So some stuff came up with like my health in between and just like some other really weird things that were going down for me, and specifically to like our location. Like I'm in a pretty high COVID count area right now too. So there was a lot of shit. But regardless, I was slacking, and then the night before our set, so we went on the second day. So the first day happens. I'm like, okay, I'm going to record this acoustic shit after I eat some. But then I'm on the phone with our agent, Alex Martin, who's like my best friend in the world. And I'm talking to them, just being like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. Should I just do acoustic shit? I feel like I've done a bunch of live streams already and acoustic stuff. Like, I feel like I'd be selling people short if I just did the same thing over again. I don't want to do that. Yeah. And then they're kind of just like, you can like record like multiple things. Like you could go as crazy as you want with this. And they're like, and then they say, you probably shouldn't because you go on tomorrow. Like you should either do it very simply and quickly right now. And then like, I feel like something when they said that, I was like, I'm about to completely do something different than what I was planning on doing, Yeah. So I basically immediately was like, what if I, sort of did like some like lo-fi trap-ish like drum type shits, and then just did a little bit of alternate versions of some songs that are already out. And then in between I can put on some remix of game music, because like I could probably make a remix of a fucking Pokemon song just for lols, in between like the tracks. So I start on that and I'm like doing it, and then I get through it and I'm like, I could actually do this, I'm like, I can actually finish this. So I kind of like do it, record the vocals in the morning. There's an acoustic version of it. Well, the song is acoustic itself, but there's a new song on the end of it. But it kind of got put together very quickly. Like I stayed up that entire night to just do it. And then so we put it on. It's crazy because the server breaks down like when we're supposed to go on for this live stream. The server crashes, so they just put it up on Twitch with the image instead of having it in Minecraft. So like I feel like there was a lot of like hysteria around it, almost like what the hell's going on? How did this Minecraft server break? People are in the Twitch now chatting up a storm. It's like probably 300 something people in there. Damn. It's a lot of people. I'm freaking out because I'm like this is crazy, like I've never done an e-gig like this before. So effectively the set's playing to this image. People are really liking it. I'm 3 minutes behind like my stream, so I don't really know what's happening currently. I'm sort of seeing people's reaction to like, oh my god, this thing happened. I'm like, did they like it? I'm still on the 3 minutes before. And then so Jake Salzer, the owner of Counterintuitive Records, the record label we're on, he messages our group chat and he's like, yo, what if we press this on vinyl and put up this shit for sale as soon as the stream is over, like as soon as the set is over? Damn. So basically, impulsively, like this idea has existed for maybe 14 hours at this time, and we're already talking about pressing vinyl. I thought he was joking, but then he's like, nah, for real, let's do it. Send me the masters. Let's go and do it. Like, let's press this right now. Puts the link up, submits for test presses, and I'm just like, I'm freaking out because I'm like, like in a great way. I'm losing
Yeah.
my mind because like I didn't expect the reception to be positive at all. I thought people would just be like, oh, that's kind of cool, you know, whatever. But
Yeah.
you know, Jake puts a thing up, we're selling shit. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I did not expect this to happen. Also, you gotta keep in mind, like, I haven't slept in 36 hours at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, people are texting me like, yo, what the hell, man? Like, that was crazy. And I'm like, yeah, you think that's crazy? We're about to put it up for vinyl, like on vinyl
Yeah.
release, yo. It's crazy. I'm losing my mind. Then I go to sleep right after that. I wake up like the next day, and it was just really cool. Like, honestly,
That
it was
is
like
really
the most
cool.
impulsive, like rapid fire thing I've ever been involved with. But I think the thing that's really interesting is like, as you know, more artists, more bands are in quarantine, it's like that's the shit that's getting through to people, is like the stuff that is like more like rapidly, like, you know, off the top of your head. Because I feel like as artists with album cycles, we're trained to sort of like, you know, fall right into this 2-year, 1-year album cycle thing where we're like prepping, and it's like, okay, we're sitting just to like have this. But there's no sitting right now, you know, with these live streams. It's like people are online 24/7, more than they ever have been before. Stuff is like physical media, like pre-orders and stuff is being bought at rates that I haven't seen it. It's just like for like so many different bands. It's really crazy, and it's kind of inspiring in a way, you know, if there's any sort of light at the end of the tunnel for artists who've been like screwed over by not touring. I feel like there have been a lot more opportunities to sort of like let that instant creativity sort of shine through. The other part, the flip side of that is like not everybody has those resources though. So
Yeah.
it's like still all in all very negative time, but you know, I do see a lot of people like doing things that I don't think they would have done unless these circumstances were here. So props to like everybody really doing anything, because like for themselves it's great, you know, for their band it's great, but then also those people that like are going through some shit right now. We're all going through something, but to have something to look forward to like that it means a lot to a lot of people. I know that it means a lot to me, you know. So like
Yeah.
I just like, it's hats off to like every artist who's like continuously like doing live streams and pulling out new shit and showing people and showcasing different sides of their bands. I think
Oh, yeah.
that's something that's really inspirational to me.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude,
When
that was a really cool story.
yeah, that was.
Like,
Yeah,
Wow.
sorry for it's a long one, but
It's so good.
oh
I
no, it's
appreciate
fine.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was listening through it, it was a trip. And I texted Glory while I was listening to it. I'm like, this band sampled the bruh sound effect, and I thought that was the best thing. That is one of the best things
Yeah.
I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Thank you. That
Can
was
you-
impulsive, yo. I was sitting there with the beat and I was like, something's missing. And I was like, I know what I got. I got Dragon, put the bruh sample in
The
there.
bruh
and just,
sounds
you
like-
know.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Can you tell me about the cover? What was going through your head when you were making the cover?
Yo. Okay, so this is honestly an equally interesting story.
Tell
so,
Okay.
So we're playing a show with Prince Daddy and the Hyena, the Obsessives, and Retirement Party back in July, back when shows happened.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That was a crazy time.
We open the show, we see that there's a projector behind the stage,
Mhm.
and our manager Lex is there, and she runs Chatterbot. She's like literally also my best friend. Like Pat, Alex Martin, and Lex, like, and I are like the 4 homies. You know how it is. But
Inseparable.
basically, so Lex is like plotting like, what could we put up here? You know, like what could we put behind us? And Lex is like, what if we like had a Minecraft thing behind us? And I'm like, yeah, but what if it was the Minecraft dude but with the douchebag hat on, like from the 2008 memes?
Mhm.
And I was like, also, here's this picture of a local McDonald's that I just have. It's raining.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you want to put it in front of that? And she's
Uh-huh.
like, bet, fuck it. We make the thing like a square and like, and then we show it to the dude who's like running the board and we're like, can we have this projected behind us? And he's kind of like, nah, dude, that shit's whack. That's like, we're not gonna do it. And we were like, okay, whatever, we'll just play a set. It would have been funny if we did it. But so that's like in my favorites, in my photos, because I think
Yeah.
it's a funny ass picture anyway.
Yeah.
It was in Lex's too. So when that stream broke, when the Minecraft server broke and it was just a Twitch stream, Lex sends Connor that picture and it's just like, yo, just put this on
Yeah.
the screen and we'll play it like while we'll play the set while that picture's up. And then while Jake is hitting the group chat like, yo, like like, what should this cover art be? I mean, Alexa, like, we already know. Like, we both send that picture at the same time, like, just this, nothing else.
Nothing
like,
else.
Yeah.
So that picture has existed for almost a year now.
Wow.
But I think that's the other funny thing is, like, the thing that existed longer than the music, you know, longer than this idea, was that fucking picture. And, like, we were just, like, there was none of those songs made, like, except for the 24-hour drive-through one I did for a split a couple months previous, but everything else was brand new. Off, like, I made it that day, and or recorded it that day at least, and that picture has existed since July 20th, 2019. So it's just like,
That's great.
That's hysterical to me. That's just
Yeah.
part of the thing. That was the other thing, is just like having that image. It's crazy because, like, for me, so like I've looked up to Counterintuitive Records my entire, like, the way that, like, as long as I've known about CI, I've been like, that's the coolest label in the world. They inspire me. It's a treasure to be on it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it is so freaking funny to go onto their website and just see that listed, like that picture. And I'm just like, yo, if you told like 17-year-old me, or however old I was when Jake started a record label, like, yo, you're going to be on CI Rex and you're gonna have this as your Minecraft, or as your album cover, this Minecraft shit, I would just feel like you're absolutely nuts. Like, there's no way. But
Yeah.
man, it's it's funny. It's funny as shit to me, but I don't know. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that the music existed for like 14 hours, but the cover art has been around for almost a year. So
Yeah.
that's
Wonderful.
cool. Yeah,
It was meant to be.
it was
That's
meant to be.
amazing.
We're on that planning shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So you actually touched upon it for a second, but not exactly what I want to bring up. Your song 24-Hour Delivery, you have a Kevin Durant quote at the end of it, and I really wanted to ask, like, why did you choose that quote?
Yeah. Okay. So, that in itself has like a couple layers. Like, just as far as like, so like I've loved basketball my entire life. I don't know if either y'all follow anything, but so that new documentary KD just put out, Basketball County, that's my home county, Prince George's County, Maryland. So I've always had a connection to basketball as a whole. There have been some great ball players just like come through my high school, come through Pat's high school. Pat actually went to high school with Markelle Fultz, the number one pick of the 2017 draft. And I'm pretty sure he was at that school, and Oladipo was there too. So like maybe he was the year before, but like, so like there's a rich history of basketball just everywhere in our surrounding area, and it's always been a part of my life, like as long as I really was cognizant, like just like knowing about basketball. And I feel like I definitely like for a minute was using like games as a coping mechanism as the beginning of the pandemic was starting. And then I remember watching live like as their season shut down, and just how much like more seriously it got for like the world, because it was like a player got the shit, they shut down the season, everyone else is like, yo, we're shutting down all these public events. Like for me, I know that's like, if they're shutting down the courts, they're probably going to shut down the venues, this tour is going to get canceled, everything's going. So I just remember how much of an impact that had for me. So during this pandemic, I have just been like reconnecting with a lot of the old games that I watched when I was younger. So I was like watching 2007 playoff games and stuff like that, and just some other shit that I actually wasn't even around for. Like I was watching Olympic basketball from like the 90s and the Dream Team, all that. And I just remember like making it the Minecraft thing, and I was like, I feel like I wanted to have a speech of some sort in there. And I was like thinking like, I could use some sports shit, I could use some KD shit, and I was thinking, you know, that's the MVP speech that he gave. And it's like got the iconic like to his mom, like, you're the real MVP thing, and I knew that was in there, but I'm like, this is a 15-minute speech, I'm sure there's something else I could hear that maybe someone hasn't heard before. And the thing, like, while I was listening to it, and while I had been up for like, you know, a really long time at this point, it's like 5 a.m, I'm watching it, and the way that he's talking to a teammate who had got traded there, about like a piece of paper, you know, that he left in KD's locker, saying like that just wrote on it KD MVP, but before the MVP race was even really decided. That kind of like, for me, it was weird, because just like I feel like that's something so simple and so pure, and I just already have a connection to Kevin Durant as it is, and connections to like a lot of PG County basketball players. I just feel a lot of pride for a lot of them. So, and then, you know, he starts crying in the thing, and I'm just like, this is honestly like, I feel like there's a lot of toxicity around the like the fandom of like sports, and a lot of franchises like fans, but I feel like seeing something that pure from like one of the best players, like, you know, in the NBA right now, kind of really, it moved me in that moment, and I was like, that's going over this, you know, like that has to happen, just because there's too many connections for it not to be, and I feel some type of way about it, and I really love that message, and just like, also it's just great, you know, he talked about each one of his teammates in that thing, and I was thinking a lot about like how our team works at the time, and just like how grateful I am to be surrounded by like, you know, such great people that I trust and people that believe in me and I believe in them. You know, it's like, that's how I feel about the Gami team, you know, not just, you know, me and Pat, but also Lex and Alex Martin and Jake Salzer and Jake Checkaway, who records our music, and Jamie Coletta, who does PR for us. Like, they're all MVPs, you know? So it was kind of just how I was feeling in the moment. This is what it is, because this is how I feel about this team right now that we have. And, you know, I just found that parallel to be pretty moving at the moment.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Oh my god, that was so wholesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was great. Wow.
Thank you.
So how do you feel about the reception to your new album?
To Summer City or the Minecraft?
The album, the full length.
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's pretty mind-blowing. It's been way crazier than I anticipated. You know, I kind of like thought that we'd put it out and people would be like, this is cool, because people had always, you know, been pestering us for an LP. Like before we had put it out, people were like, when's this band gonna drop a full-length album? And we'd always been sitting on it just like, come on, you know, we're working like on our band fund to be able to record a full-length album. I think that's a thing that a lot of people overlook, is like, we try to sustain ourselves as like a band, so it's like we weren't gonna like sink ourselves in negatives just because we couldn't do that. But once we were financially able to, like, we recorded it, and we were really happy with the record, you know, and I'm incredibly happy with the record now, and I've always been, just even like through the writing process. But I never really anticipated it to be kind of like regarded to some people as like their album of the year, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people saying that at the end of 2019, and I was just like, that's incredible to me, because I didn't think it was going to be like that. I really thought that, you know, there'd be like some outliers and like dark, like diehard fans that are going to like say that, but not like people who had just heard it for the first time. And I feel like there was a tremendous reception that I couldn't have anticipated at all for me, because like, you know, I'm incredibly proud of this release, but I've been incredibly proud of every release we put out, you know?
Yeah.
So there was nothing that like was like a sign to me that was like, oh, this is going to be the one that like, you know, triples you in size. There was nothing like that before we put it out. But once we put it out, just seeing that reception and seeing how many people were ready to embrace the positivity that we kind of spoke out into the world, that was just like really heartwarming to me, as both, you know, both an artist or a writer, and just as a person, you know, a person with a message and a goal. I feel like it was very touching. And, you know, to this day, I still see people saying stuff like online, just like, yo, I just found out this band, but I'm really, you know, loving what they're doing so far. And to me, it's like, I just, it's special, because I have been in that position with bands that have changed, you know, my life. Not to say that we're changing theirs, but like defining moments in my life where I figure out a band's LP, like where I find it out, or when a band drops an LP that I've been waiting for a while, like Heck No Nancy with the Obsessives, and how that, you know, that's a defining moment in my life, and it makes me appreciate that a lot more from like the artist side, just like, you know, knowing that there are those personal connections to this record. It's very humbling, and it makes you, it's a really undescribable feeling, but like, I don't know, it just makes me feel warm about like what we're doing, and that, you know, something that we put a lot of work into is received like that. It's just you know, it makes us, that's why we do this shit, you know. We do it because we love it, but it's like, that's just like so much more reassuring, you know, on top of that.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Dude, all
Thank
your
you.
answers are like really good. I'm just gonna say this now, like, your answers are so in detail, but it's not like you're droning on, you know?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had some practice. I was listening to a podcast last night, so I'm in like that was
You're
my
in the zone.
warm up. I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
You're in the zone.
Nah, but thank y'all, for real. It's been a blast. These are great questions.
Thank you.
I love talking
Thank
to y'all.
Thank you. Awesome. So I don't have a good segue for this question, so I'm just gonna straight out ask it. Do you have a favorite tour memory?
Ooh. I have a bunch of pretty cool ones, but
Okay.
I feel like the ones that I remember, like as soon as like you say that are like really not like wholesome-y things. They're just kind of funny things.
Yeah.
There's this there's this McDonald's we went to just because of the way it looked in Roswell, New Mexico. It's shaped like a fucking UFO. Like it's got like it's shaped like a saucer, like a UFO saucer.
Oh my god.
And so we went in there, and it's actually on our Instagram story. But I'm taking this video, and I'm like, yo, we're at the spaceship McDonald's, and then Alex Martin, who is our booking agent, but is also the bassist of Short Fictions, the band that we went on that full US with. And they just like look at the camera and they go, "We on spaceship," and like pretty loud. And then there's just like a bunch of fucking random people like looking at us, just like, "What the fuck are these people doing?"
Yeah.
And then we were kind of like literally got out of there as soon as, because we were not trying to order food like that at all. Or maybe Pat was or somebody, but we were like I was so embarrassed. But that's like, I don't know why that comes. It's just like, probably because I watch that video every day. The way that they say it is like hysterical. It feels like a TikTok the way that they say it. Because like it goes from like Instagram video to like TikTok type face shit.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, like, another favorite is the Beat Kitchen in Chicago. We played a great band, Mount Pocono. You know, actually, like, you know, one of my favorite bands to come out of like the Midwest just at all. They make great music. It was their last show ever, and it was the first time we played with them. It was the first time we played in Chicago. The show was sold out. It was near the end of this past tour. And I've always, you know, just had this fascination with Chicago as a city. I'd never been there though. Just always heard a lot, and like you can check your Spotify stats, right? Like as an artist, and for ours, like as long as we've been like above like 1,000 monthly, Chicago has always had the most listeners for Origami Angel. So I always wanted to get there, even though we never really did.
Yeah.
So first time in Chicago, this venue that I've seen so many of my favorite tour packages hit. We sell the venue out pre-sale, like not like the tickets before sold out. That's never happened for us before, and I was just blown away by it. That show was an insane energy the entire time. Like the crowd had a ridiculously fun ass time. I had a fun ass time. People were stage diving. People like were just like moving from the first note to the last, and like I just like that type of energy. The first time we ever get to play a city at all, you know, like that's nuts. Like similar thing happened in Phoenix and LA. We played like Orange County before, but I think like this last tour, the first time we played LA proper, it was the most amount of people we've ever played to. It was a completely stacked show. This band Glass Beach played, Step Brother played, and that was another amazing moment where I was kind of just feeling like this is a little too real right now for me. Like in the middle of that set, like there was a lot of people singing back like lyrics, and then like some like the lyrics in Find Your Throne, which is what I was with on that tour. Like during that part at the end, I was just kind of like, this is dope as fuck. Like it just hit me, and it's like, that's definitely one of my favorites too.
All right, I like that.
Oh my god, that's wild. Yeah.
I feel like there's some other. Oh, hold up. This is actually the best thing though.
Okay.
I'm sorry for.
It's all good.
for acting like I was done with answering this one.
Okay.
We found.
Okay.
Yeah.
We found a Dunkin' Donuts rug outside of a Dunkin' Donuts. It's like they're just giving it away or something.
Yeah. It's out on the curb.
They were giving it away. Yeah.
So I feel like the reason it was outside was because it was like they washed it because it was wet. We realized that later. We needed a drum rug, so we're like, this is about to be our drum rug, and it's just so nice that they're giving it away. But I guess it was wet, so we had it in the car, and then we took it out that night, and we're like, yo, this shit's wet. We're gonna put it on the top of a roof, and this is in Phoenix, so we're gonna let it dry out in the dry ass Phoenix, whatever, you know, atmosphere. And at the end of the show, we'll put it back. I even set a reminder on my phone. Put the rug off the roof. Put it back into the trunk. So we're packing up. I completely forget to do that. Everyone else forgets. I'm backing out at the venue. Pull it out into the street. Accelerate. And I just hear come off the roof. And I'm like, no, the rug just fell off the fucking roof. Because at that moment, that's when I'm realizing, like, yo, I just realized the rug is gone. And it's Phoenix. It's like a Friday night. It's like 10 p.m. You know, hypothetically, it should be like everybody out hours. Like we're like a couple blocks from like downtown, like the main street of Phoenix.
Yeah.
So like there's things everywhere. There's restaurants, all like fast food places on both sides of the road that we're on. we're at this, like, we're approaching this light. I'm like, yo, we gotta go back, get that rug, because we just found that rug in Dunkin' Donuts. It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. I'm like, yes. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm like, I've driven in DC all the time. Like, I can drive anywhere. So I pull this U-turn, and like I'm like going pretty quick to take this other U-turn and put the flashes on, get out and get the shit, expecting to do this like in the. And then I realized, like, as I'm making the second U-turn, as I hit the flashes and get out the car, I'm like, no one is driving right now. We were the only car on the road on a Friday night at 10 p.m. in Phoenix, Arizona, a major city, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And then someone was like, yeah, it's only old people live here. I hear that. It's like a retirement city. But I was like, that can't be true. Like, that can't be true because, like, we're still by the downtown. You know, there should have been someone, like, who passed us.
Yeah.
At least on one side of the road, but I'm out here like sprinting to get this rug back into the trunk, and I'm looking around, I'm like, no one is outside, and it's nice. Like, what the hell is going on? So that was just kind of like a weird thing that happened, but that was hysterical. Once I got back in the car, I was like, I totally looked like a dumbass if anybody was out there, me sprinting around like it was like in Philly or something, or like, you know, like it, that wouldn't have happened. Like, I probably got hit by a car.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, don't do that in Philly. If that happens again, don't do it in Philly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We know now. It's dry now, so hopefully that will never happen again.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just about to ask, do you still have it? You still have it?
Yeah, we still got it.
Oh my god.
The rug
that's
that
awesome.
they found.
Best find ever.
Best find.
Yeah,
yes.
Best find, yeah.
Hell yeah. Do you guys have any pre-show rituals?
The fact that I'm like having trouble to think of any makes me feel like we don't.
Okay.
That's cool.
Except, so I have this sample pad that I had on my pedal board the last tour. Before we play, I guess this is almost like a pre-show ritual, but it's like preset. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of go on. We do our thing. We set up. I play to a couple different amps. You know, just because we're a two-piece, I gotta beefing up the sound. Yeah. Play like 3 amps on this last tour. 2 guitar amps and a bass amp. I set that up. Pat sets up his shit. We're like, we give each other eye contact. We're like, all right, it's go time. I hit this thing on the sample pad, and it starts playing the Minecraft C418 Sweden.
Yeah.
And then we're like, what's up, Origami Angel? What's good? Hope y'all enjoy the show. And then we hit the GameCube startup sound, and then we play this breakdown, and then we go into the song 24-hour drive-through. So that was our preset ritual for like the last couple tours.
I like that.
That's all I can think of that like happens every time though.
Okay.
I feel like I do like sort of vocal warm-ups. I do like the siren shit, like the wee shit that they tell you to do in theaters.
Yeah.
Not that I did theater or anything. Someone told me that that's what they did in theater.
Mm.
But yeah, I can't really think of anything else. Pat probably's got something. He used to do pre-workout.
Pre-workout, like jumping jacks.
Yeah. No, like the powder, like the protein powder.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
okay. Like he's getting ready to work out.
Yeah.
Which is not inherently bad unless he was to overuse it, but he didn't. Like he used to work at a gym, so he knows what's good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So speaking of live shows, what would you say your top 3 songs to perform live are?
Top 3. Yeah, it's weird because like it's changed a lot, I feel like, since the record's been out. Because back in the day, like I say the day like it wasn't 8 months ago, but like we used to play the song ROM Hack, which is at like at the time like our best performing song, like our most well known jump, off of our second EP, and that was like always the best. But like that would be like low key dull compared to some of the other ones like from the record on this past tour, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like what's going on? Like this used to be the one. What's going on? But you know, sometimes we'll play that and people will be like, oh yeah, I'm hip to that. So like some places definitely still go hard as hell for it, like equally to like the new ones, but that was kind of a weird thing to adjust to. So I'd say like now, definitely like my favorite 3 to perform live had to be 666 Flags, XD Gale of Darkness, which we didn't do a lot on this last tour, but that song I feel like is our like most different ass song, and it's just like fun as hell to play. People love it when we play that song because usually they don't expect to hear it. Like we don't play it that often. Yeah. And then Find Your Throne. I really love the way that we've always played that song. Just like I love our energy. I love people's energy, especially because like this last tour we closed with it. It was just like something about that like knowing that it's gonna be the last song like made people like go that much harder.
Yeah.
And it's like that one has like this kind of like slow build up energy, and just like it feels really good to play that song like at the end of our set and just end it, because like I'd always had like trouble like with what we were ending our sets with until that song was out and we could end it with that, and it was just like cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you
I say those are my top 3.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. Where do you see the band in the next 5 years?
Sheesh. I feel like that would have been a different ass question like 5 or 6 months ago, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't really know where I see the world in 5 years, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Hopefully there's going to be a state of normalcy that is, you know, returned to at some point, but it's like there's really no indication of when that might be. Like I'm hopeful that that'll happen, but I don't know if that'll happen in 6 months or 2.5 years, and I don't know what the long-term impact of it's going to be past, you know, what it is right now. But what I can just, you know, hope to say is like I hope that we are continuing to just have fun writing music and continue to just like put out our, you know, further our own personal narratives like through the band, you know, further our artistic ambition, just get more creative with shit. And, you know, honestly, just the things that I know that I do see in 5 years is I know me and Pat are still going to be chilling. I know that we're still going to be writing the music that we want to. I know that Alex and Myron, Lex, Jake Seltzer, we're all just going to still be homies and still plotting on like ways to like that we can do this shit. And like, honestly, that's like all it is for me is just like doing it with the team of people that like we've done it with for a while. I think that we've got a great team, and just everybody is so, you know, they know their role in a way on this thing, and they do it so well that I'm just confident that I know that we'll continue to be making the music that we want to in 5 years, you know? Like I feel like that's I might have had like a more I guess like a more grounded answer to that if there was like any sort of normal circumstance right now, but you know, I'm sorry if that's like a cop out answer, but
no, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
I completely
realistic.
get that.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, you get it. Cool. So for the
respect.
last couple questions, we're going to go away from music for a second, and we're going to go straight to death row. So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be, and why? With a drink. With a drink.
With a drink.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a fantastic question.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm trying to think. Because, you know, I'll stay true to the brand. I'm going to get the banana cream caramel, salted caramel pancake stack from Denny's.
Ooh. Wow.
To drink, I feel like I'd get a Dr. Pepper with like a little bit of ice, like a little bit, like
just like 2 cubes.
Yeah, like Wendy's fountain Dr. Pepper, but not Wendy's ice. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
It's too much ice.
They do, yeah.
And then I feel like I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't go a little bit harder than that for my last. I'd also have a pickled egg and sunflower seeds.
Wow.
That's just that's a little thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's this weird thing. I don't know if they do this anywhere else in the world. It's a thing here, where you'll get like a pickled egg or whatever, like with the red beet shit or whatever.
Yeah.
And you put it in like a little bag, and then you put sunflower seeds in the bag, like with the shell and shit, and you mash up the egg, and you cut a little hole, and you eat them together and chew the seeds. And I know it sounds fucking weird, but that is like one of the best things I've ever had in my life. And it's like, that's like my go-to, like, some fucked up shit just happened. That's what I'm about to eat. That's what I'm about to ingest, because like, it's weird as hell. Like, and I know it, but it's also dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like I've told a lot of people, like, this is what I fuck with, and people are like, you are the craziest dude I know. Like, but I'd say that would be like my little appetizer.
So that's like your comfort food then. Like that's your go-to comfort food right there.
Go-to, yeah. I wouldn't even say it's like a go-to, because I feel like in my regular day-to-day life, like it's almost too powerful to continue to utilize.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's a rare occasion type thing for me, but
Mhm.
it's like if there was dire circumstance, you know, death
Yeah.
row,
Death row.
you know, as an example, definitely that's a move.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't want to overuse it, and then you get sick of it. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
the thing is,
Uh,
you get it.
so if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
No question. I would live in the Hoenn region, Pokemon. Just I feel like as far, you know, obviously living over fucking Pokemon, but on top of that, just like the beautiful landscapes, the waterfall, forests everywhere there, and just like and the beaches. I think that it's a geographically diverse region, and I feel like there's just a mentality in Hoenn that you know it would go really well with the way that I live.
solid.
Alright.
Solid.
We'd be chilling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a very good answer as well. Some people are just like Pokemon.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it'd be sick to like live in Pokemon world, but I know it'd be Hoenn. You know, that's Gen
Yeah,
3.
exactly.
And if it wasn't Hoenn, it'd be Johto, just because of how beautiful the what's the word I'm looking for? Just like beautiful the architecture is. Architecture of Johto. But yeah, either those two, but Hoenn preference. You know, if it's like if I can't live there, it's, you know, overpopulation or whatever, I'll stick with Johto. That'll be fine because I know it's more spaced out there too. So
Yeah.
I respect it.
Awesome. Cool. So I have the honor of asking the last question, and a lot of people
Sweet.
say it's the most important question. What is your favorite color?
oh wow. Yeah, this is something I try not to think about because I know that like if I like had a favorite color, it would change like every day.
Uh-huh.
But I say like my favorite like over my entire life has been green. I feel
Green.
like green is like I feel like a really just powerful color in like the range of like what it can be used for.
Mhm.
And a lot of shit that I like, I don't even realize the green in it, and then I'm like, oh, it's got green, that's cool, you know. And then like as a more like intentional thing, just like, you know, I feel like I really do love like the more like millennial shade of pink. You know what I'm saying? Like
okay.
like
Yeah.
like just like lighter shades of that, and just like how that can be used like almost like a it's weird, like, you know what I'm saying, like almost like a beige, but it's still kind of pink, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Almost like an incredibly light salmon or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say like that's like a color I like to look at, you know. So I'd say
Yeah,
like between
it's a
those
nice
two
color.
jobs. Oh yeah, thank you.
All right. So that's all the questions we have. Is there anything you want to plug?
You can follow us on social media at Origami Angel DC on everything. And we can't wait to show you like what we got planned for y'all.
Hell yeah.
That's
Exciting.
all I can think of.
Okay.
Respect.
Cool.
So thank you for sitting down with us. This has been Ryland
Of course, yo.
from Origami Angel and We're the Good Noise Podcast.